In this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can turn Claude Code into a 10k a month business, even if you're not technical. Now, if you've been living under a rock for the past 2, 3, 4 weeks and you don't know what Claude Code is, it's basically an agentic AI tool that can create anything that you could ever dream of. I'm talking about softwares, apps, workflows, automations, designs, websites. It can basically create anything that you can think of. But the problem is, even though everybody can get access to this, 99% of people won't make any money from it. So in this video, I'm going to go over the exact business model that's actually making people money right now, the 2 mistakes that will cost you months of wasted time and possibly the biggest money-making opportunity of 2026, and the dead simple services that you should actually be selling instead. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you 2 real projects that I've built and sold in the past 7 days so that you can actually see how this works. So why should you even listen to me before we go any further? Well, I have been in the marketing and e-com game for the past 5 years, and I have over $30 million worth of attributable revenue for my clients. As you can see here, we've got a 95k a day, a 30k a day, 1.2 million lifetime, 10k days. I also run a community full of copywriters, creative strategists, and brand owners where I'm showing them my agentic workflows, I'm showing them how I'm using Claude Code, and they're actually using what I'm teaching them to go off and make more money within their own businesses. So now that I've got all of that out of the way, let's get on to this, because this is the biggest problem that everybody's running into. They have access to Claude Code, they have access to all of this AI, they have access to the world's knowledge at their fingertips, but they can't make any money. And it's because of this statement right here. You don't know how to build things that people actually want. Everybody seems to be focused on trying to build the next Salesforce or some app that gets used by 1 million people. And in actual fact, what you're going to do is you're either just going to get overtaken when Claude releases a new update, or you just don't have the knowledge and skill to be able to actually distribute what you've built. So you end up spending months building something and get no users and make no money, and you've just wasted 6-12 months of your life. So what you want to be doing instead is this. The thing is, it doesn't matter how good AI gets, businesses are always going to need these 4 things: ads, landing pages, content, and email. They all need marketing assets. Now, where does Claude Code come into this? Well, maybe if we go back 2-3 years, to actually fulfill on these services, it took a lot of man hours and it took a lot of time. Whereas now we have AI and we can automate about 90% of it. And the cost to fulfill has dropped by about 60-70% because we don't need things like designers. We don't need to hire 10 copywriters. We don't need to hire 10 editors because AI can do the bulk of the work for us. So let me give you an example of what I mean here. Let's take email, for example. So I literally just sold an automated email agent just yesterday, and I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like. So this isn't the brand one. I've just got email agent up here because I don't want to dox the brand. But if I show you, if I pull this in here, this is how this looks. So this is like the little dashboard that they get. Obviously, the one that I gave to the client was completely branded around their brand. It had their logo and stuff, and it was filled with all of their data. But this is their little dashboard for their completely autonomous email agent that writes, schedules emails on its own. It even does design emails. I'll show you an example. So this was one of the emails that I made with it. This is not the client, by the way. This is just Therabody. I wanted to show you it. But it one-shotted this in about 5 minutes. And these are the type of design emails it sends. It also sends plain text emails. And they have access to this little Klaviyo-like dashboard to control it. So it sends autonomously, but they can come in and they can speak to the little AI assistant and tell it they want to do new emails for this, they want to do a sale for this. They have segments in here. Obviously, it's not populating anything. They've got a calendar, there's angles, and it's not pulled that up either. And then they can add new products, new ad scripts, and basically update the strategy brain that's built into this. And as you can see, the design emails are actually pretty decent. Another thing that I created and sold was a landing page agent. So this is the type of landing pages that this thing can build completely autonomously without any input. I'll show you another one for Therabody. So this was another one, a little listicle. and then there was another little listicle here. So that was kind of some of the examples of how I've been using it. So if we come back over here, that was email and landing pages, and that is fully autonomous. For example, obviously the email one's autonomous, but the landing page one, I set it up in a way where the automation actually just reads his ad scripts from the day before. It creates advertorials and listicles based on his ad sets, creates the landing pages for him, fully designed, all the copy written, and then it just gets a message sent to him saying your landing pages are ready. He can then go in and choose whether or not he wants to use that. And for me, I sold them as one-off projects, but I'm going to show you the two paths that you can use to actually monetize this. That full workflow was done, like, if you wanted to sell one-off landing pages before, it took you a day to write it. You had to send it to a designer, and then the designer took 2 or 3 days to get it back. And then you had to do revisions before you handed it off to the client. Now you can do a landing page in about 10 minutes if you're fast, maybe even quicker. And if you fully automate it, you don't even need to do anything. It just gets delivered into your Google Drive every single day at a specific time if you set it up that way. And this is the way that you're actually going to make money, especially in 2026, because the next part that I'm going to show you is the actual demand for this is going up. So if I just come over to Upwork, so I've just came on to Upwork, and the demand for selling these types of AI powered services is going to go through the absolute roof. I've been saying this, you can go back and look at my channel for the past few months. The demand for this is just going to keep increasing. And the thing is, the actual supply of people who can do it really well is very low. So they're going to take a massive market share of this. Just look at this. AI ads for cosmetic brands, AI UGC creatives for a mobile app marketing, creative organic content marketer, performance copywriter, creative strategist for a fashion brand, ad creative specialist for AI assisted video production, junior copywriter, direct response marketing, AI video creator, creative strategist for e-commerce brand. This was all today, posted yesterday and today, 13 hours. Like, I checked this last week and there wasn't this much. And now I've just checked it again yesterday and there's a ton. There's like 12 to 15 jobs posted every single day. The demand is just skyrocketing right now and nobody knows how to fulfill it. Now, even though you have access to Claude Code, which can build anything that you want, and the demand for these types of services is only increasing, how can you fail? Well, these are the two big failures that people are going to make. Number one, and I've seen people doing this right now, they're not embracing change. What I mean by that is, let's say it's creative strategists or copywriters or people who write ads or something. They're not actually deploying AI. They're not getting stuck into Claude Code and learning how it works. They're not trying to automate parts of their process. They're just prompting ChatGPT to write them ad scripts. They're prompting it to write them emails. I've just showed you like a fully autonomous agent that completely wipes them out. Like, how can you compete with people who are deploying AI agents when you're still typing into ChatGPT like it's 2024? Like, those days are gone. The next problem is people are going to spend too long building shit that nobody wants to buy. And people can fall into that as well. And that's why I'm telling you, instead of just trying to build shit that nobody wants to buy, focus on the stuff that's in demand. The things that I just showed you here, the demand for it is only increasing. And people have bought these same services and deliverables for the past 2, 3, 5, 10, 15 years. And that's not going to change. The only way that it changes is you can now deliver this with 100x the volume. You could even cut your prices a little bit because you don't need to make that much money from one client, because you could service 30 clients and it still takes you 1/10 of the amount of time to actually fulfill on them. So hopefully you've understood that. Now there's two paths that you can take from here. Path A is the AI first agency or freelancer. This is where you're going to be working with brands. You can take on 10 plus clients. You're going to have minimal staffing costs, and you're going to be able to provide clients with 100x the volume, and it takes 1/10 of the amount of time. So what I mean by this is those, for example, the email agent, instead of taking a brand on and building this agent for them, you just take them on, say you're going to do their emails, and then it runs automatically and you just take care of the agent or the landing pages. You sign up a brand and you say, I'm going to give you 30 landing pages a month and I'm only going to take $2,000 for that. It still only takes you about an hour to actually fulfill on that, because you can have it completely automated to the point where you're just sending the landing pages to the clients, fully designed, copywritten, everything ready to go. Like, other agencies are not going to be able to compete with you. You could be charging 2K, 3K, 1K, it depends how many clients you end up having. That's path A. And then we've got path B, which is the AI agent installation guy. This is where you're going to go into brands and actually install custom agents into that brand and then hand it off to them. This is where you can pull in high 5-figure projects, 10, 20, 30K one time. Because let's just think about it. Let's say a brand is spending 10K a month on a creative agency and you come in and you can automate their creative pipeline. Do you think that's worth 30K? Of course it is, because it's going to pay itself off in 3 months. Then it's essentially free, apart from API tokens. And then you could even add a small maintenance fee for the agents, so that it's like $300 a month, just in case anything goes wrong, you're going to jump back in and fix it. And then you can eventually productize these agents so that it's even easier fulfillment. You could basically just automate the actual fulfillment for this by having onboarding forms where the clients fill in the onboarding forms. It gets put through an agent that's turns the templatized agent into an agent for that brand. Hopefully you understand what I mean there. So yeah, that is your two paths, path A and path B. Now, here's the thing. You do not need to be technical for either one of these, because the tools do all the work for you. I am not technical, and look at what I was able to build with about 7 or 10 days worth of work. And I was just playing around with Claude Code. And that's the biggest problem. There's people who are a lot better at Claude Code than me that won't make half as much money. And it's because they're too busy building shit that nobody wants to buy. The thing is, all of the tools have caught up to where we don't need code. We don't need developers. The only thing that you need to understand is what the market wants. And for this specific business model, you need to understand what good marketing looks like, what a good high converting ad looks like, what a good email sequence does, what makes a landing page work. That's the actual skill. AI is going to handle all of the execution. Now, to understand this deeper, you're going to need to understand what direct response copywriting is, because that is the kind of underlying skill to being able to make all of this AI agent stuff work. And that is why I suggest that you hit the subscribe button and then go and binge about 10 of my other videos where I talk about copywriting and I talk about AI agents. So that is it for this video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, get on the email list. It's the first link in the description. I send a daily email to my list. And if you want to check out the community, where I give away basically all of my agents inside there, fully open source, check out Ad Operator as well. And I will see you guys in the next video.